This is a chapter from my upcoming autobiography. I hope you enjoy this. There I was in North Carolina. The solo tour runs of mine were starting to be peppered with non-ticketed gigs. In other words, after quite a few years performing in a concert setting with only persons in attendance who were there for a show, I was starting to add other types of engagements to my schedule to assure enough dates and monies. I was doing more workshops, teaching guitar or songwriting, as well as hiring out to play on recording sessions just to fill out my tours. Especially since I love live performance, there were more and more sports bar and restaurant gigs. These situations meant there would be people in the room for reasons other than my music. They might be there to dine, socialize with friends, or drink alcohol. In plain speak, there would be talking during the songs. Also, I would be enticed to play some songs I did not write and record. There are two reasons I would choose to play lots of cover songs in a bar gig setting. One, it is more painful when there is indifference and rude talking over top of my own material, and that leads me to do less of it. Two, I feel an obligation to give these patrons something they are familiar with in the hope they might become a little interested in the music. That would make it better for everyone in the room, performer and talkers alike. This restaurant in West North Carolina had become a new addition to my tours for a few years. I really liked the owner, and she was very fond of me. We each knew the score. I was accustomed to ticketed shows with listening audience, though accepted that this would not be the case there. I saw it as a night to blow it out with lots of old cover songs I had cut my teeth on for years. I had that in my DNA from thousands of such engagements over my now long career. It is nights like this one that I revert to lots of McCartney, Fogerty, Dylan, Stones, Beatles, Hendrix, Neil Young, Roger McGuinn songs. Those are favorite artists of mine. Also, I like to demonstrate my diversity. I will do a Woody Guthrie song followed by a Chet Atkins instrumental piece. Then a rocker of Tom Petty's followed by a Merle Haggard country classic. If I am so inclined, there will be a string of my own songs for a while, then a turn toward compositions of bluesmen Robert Johnson and Willie Dixon. If I decide to talk some about touring as a hired sideman musician and tell stories of working for notable artists, then I will do some of their material. Sometimes that turns the heads of the loudest yackers in the room. Even they get quiet for a moment when they realize the nobody singing in the background actually hobnobs with hit-making artists. Funny how that little moment will slap them upside their superficial heads for a short spell, though back to their loud talking they always go. So on this one night, I am down to my last 10 minutes or so. I had played for 3 hours. I was being guaranteed a couple of $100 acceptable to me for a weeknight in which I would otherwise have sat out with no earnings. I had made another $100 of tips thrown in a bucket. By the way, these buckets do not occur at ticketed concert engagements. Also, I'd sold a few pieces of merchandise even in this unlikely scenario for that. In all, I was going to walk with $350 to $380, money I would have preferred made doing a listening concert. However, as I said before, I knew the drill and had agreed to those terms. I was happy with it. There were 5 of them. 5 young male adults. They walked in and sat at a table right in front of me. They had missed the first 3 hours of my musical blowout and were now ordering beers, staring at me as I wrapped up my last 2 or 3 songs. The rest of the story starts with an almost predictable comment from the nearest table. These fellows. Freebird! That was the blurt from the all too clever young man. I am not sure how it started that years ago it became fashionable amongst the most uncool of people to call out for the Lynyrd Skynyrd Band classic when around music performers. If you happen to be one of those folks convinced that is a funny or clever request, well, it is not. Let it go. We have already heard it many times over. I did what I knew to do. I disregarded it, though they sat 3 to 5 feet from me. Despite that, they dug in. Can you play Freebird? Well, that cinched it. I knew I would be finishing the night with it. I tell you what, if I play Freebird, you guys have to carry all my gear out to the car. Agreed? That's how I responded. I had 2 acoustic guitar cases, an electric guitar, an amplifier, 3 guitar stands, 2 bags of cables and accessories, plus a box of merchandise, which was CDs, flash drives, DVDs. I was going to work this one perfectly. How would they respond? All 5 of the guys excitedly agreed to the terms. I believe they truly did want to hear the song, at least were in on the fun of it all. They saw their bluff had been called, now I had to deliver. It should be noted that my favorite band has always been one from Liverpool, England, the Beatles. My second favorite band was from El Cerrito, California, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Farther down the list of favorites of mine, the Lynyrd Skynyrd Band was out of Jacksonville, Florida. I was quite young when their heyday in rock took place. I knew of them and some of the songs. However, during my teen years, just as they had tragedy come upon them, I began to really appreciate the band's music. I played in a garage band that covered a small number of Skynyrd songs, later doing a lot of it in professional bar bands. I am somewhat notorious for doing my homework in the realm of music, so these 5 guys at the front table in North Carolina calling for Freebird were in for something unexpected. The owner of the restaurant and the remaining patrons were transfixed as I explained what I was about to do. Then I did it. It seems unthinkable to cover the Freebird record when you are performing solo. I say that because there is an array of significant parts to be demonstrated. Unlike doing a great song, this is a musical journey that transcends being a song only. Yesterday and Tie a Yellow Ribbon are songs. However, this southern rock gem is Gary Rossington's slide guitar part. Very haunting, mostly done on 2 strings, tuned in unison. A not well-known fact. It is Ronnie Van Zant's vocal with a distinct southeast drawl. It is the simple 2-verse lyrics concerning leaving, especially a heartbreaking sentiment after Ronnie's death and the plane crash that took band members' lives. It took the band's recording career at their zenith in one fell swoop during 1977. It is guitarist Alan Collins' string-bending fiasco during the long jam segment as the song picks up the pace. It goes from the gloom of the vocal verses to the exhilaration of a send-off. What does that have to do with this story? I did all the parts. After my 11-minute nod to the entirety of the classic FM rock staple, I packed my things. Then I watched my one-night army of roadies carry all items through the venue and to my vehicle. They were good-natured about it. In fact, they did seem to realize something unique had just happened in front of them. The owner said, "This is the first time anyone played Freebird here, I'm sure of it." She too seemed awed by my doing the different parts, that I tackled it all. The slide guitar, the chords, the vocals, lyrics, the rock-out segment with all of Colin's licks. I drove away with some twisted sense of justification within me.